Brazil were playing Switzerland, and this game was a bit of a grind at times. It wasn't not entertaining. It's just the way the Swiss set up to frustrate Brazil, which they did for lengthy periods. Unfortunately, if the Swiss were going to do a smash and grab, they weren't showing enough going forward. They should have started with Shaqiri on. In my opinion, they might have had a bit more joy from set plays had he been on the field for longer. The Brazilians, though, had to figure out how to break down this organised Swiss side. And it took until the second half for them to figure it out. So it's 0-0 at half time. It was a bit of a grind in the first half. It wasn't the best football match I've ever seen. But it wasn't lacking intensity and energy. You could see the Swiss were staying in their structure, staying in their formation and using their tactics. They just didn't show enough going forward. Brazil, you could see the intent was there, if not the execution. I think they were getting a little bit frustrated. However, they looked more balanced without Neymar on the field. They look a happier, more settled side without Neymar on the field. So whether he's having Neymar in and around the squad is disruptive or divisive, in the first game, even though they were ahead when he went off, they looked a happier, more balanced, free-flowing team. And even after Casemiro's goal, they started to open up and look a bit more relaxed. Even after Vinicius Jr.'s goal was disallowed, they were starting to relax into it. And they were making great combinations. And while Richarlison didn't have the best night tonight in front of goal, doesn't score, it doesn't matter. They're still doing the passing and moving combinations. The tackling's still in there. The structure's still in there. The defensive structure is really good from Brazil right now. But going forward, they look a little bit more relaxed than in previous tournaments since 2002. The fact that they haven't won a World Cup since 2002 or appeared in a final in all that time is pretty stunning. This is bearing in mind between 94 and 2002 they got to 3 finals in a row, winning 2. So this is where Brazil were back at their dominant best. It's been 2 decades of them not quite fulfilling their potential. Some of the players on display tonight, especially Vinicius Jr and Casemiro. Richarlison does stuff for Brazil that he should do more consistently at club level. Maybe he's more relaxed playing for the national side. Gabriel Jesus, better at club level than international level. Maybe he's more relaxed at club level than in the end. But they have talent and they don't need Neymar to win. They looked more balanced and happier without Neymar on the field. They didn't win the first game because of Neymar, and they didn't miss Neymar in this game. Make of that what you will. Now, it's 0-0 at half-time. The Swiss tactics are frustrating them somewhat. They've had to grind it out a little bit, but that's a sign of a good side. Not playing at their best for lengthy periods and being frustrated, but still winning. It's a sign of a good side. Now, Vinicius Jr.'s goal that's disallowed in 64 minutes. Yes, the VAR is correct because in the build-up there is an offside. What we need a bit more clarification on, I think, and a bit more transparency is how many phases in play can you go back with VAR if there's a miscall. That's what I would like as a fan, as a spectator, as a student of the sport, and as a fan of the sport, and as someone who's breaking down these games for you people. There's a little bit more clarification from FIFA. How far back in the build-up play can VAR go? Because yes, in that build-up there is an offside. Player retreats from an offside position before receiving the ball. But he's offside when the ball is initially passed to him. It's frustrating because it's a great finish by Vinicius Jr. It's a great finish and it's a great move. But yeah, it's frustrating but correct. And I think it's another flaw with the VAR system is how many phases of play go between the initial thing and then the final outcome, which may be a penalty or a red card or whatever it may be. How many phases of play do you go back to that particular offence? However, that doesn't stop the Brazilians from now relaxing into the game. They've worked out, okay, we can crack this Swiss defence with a bit of movement and a bit of pace in certain areas, predominantly down the centre and the left. And the goal comes from Casemiro, and Vinicius Jr is involved in the build-up. And these two players, alongside Richarlison, have been far more effective in the first 2 games. Yes, Neymar didn't finish the first game, but again, even without him on the field, you can see that the left-hand side and the centre and the left is where Brazil are getting their joy. The disallowed goal and the goal that scored. Casemiro, yes, there's a slight deflection, but it's the build-up play involving several players. It's not just a mazy run by one player. This is passing and moving, bit of dribbling, pass and move. It's always positive forward thinking. Casemiro that's power behind that shot. Even without the deflection, Jan Sommer is going to have a tough time keeping that out. And Jan Sommer is a very, very good goalkeeper. And he did have a very good game, hence why it's only 1-0. But that is a fantastic finish. I think there's going to be other games where Brazil are challenged more defensively. I think the Swiss tactics maybe were a little bit too negative. I would have liked to seen the Swiss give it more of a go going forward, because some of the Brazilian defending, there were some sloppy moments where Brazil did tune off, and I think Brazil can be vulnerable at the back. Thiago Silva has lost that half a yard of pace. Dani Alves, okay, he didn't play Dani Alves, but he's getting on a bit as well. I mean, he's in his late 30s, so there are some aging Brazilian defenders in the squad. There's also some young, inexperienced Brazil defenders in the squad, and tonight they were playing a right back who's generally a centre back, and they didn't challenge a player playing out of position in defence. If the Swiss had been more positive in their attacking intent, Brazil may have had a few more headaches. So, and yes, the Brazilians were sloppy. Alisson there was a few sloppy errors, but as the game wore on, the Swiss press dropped out a little bit further back. They started getting tired because they were doing so much defending at times that they weren't doing enough attacking, and they're making the Brazilians defend more. They didn't get enough crosses and free kicks into the box or corners, whereas Brazil were having a lot of that joy. It was just the structure of the Swiss really frustrated Brazil. And in the last World Cup, it was a 1-1 draw. So the Swiss and the Brazilians seem to have this really weird head-to-head where it's very rare that one side beats the other. Ironically, it's mostly scoring draws. But the sign of a good side is not to play at their most fluid best and have a few players playing out of position and a few lineup changes that disrupted, obviously, the team, and still win. The Swiss have put themselves in a position where that last game is crucial. They do actually need to win, really, to give them the best chance of getting through. If they get a draw, they're not guaranteed to get through to the next round. Brazil, look, they qualified. They're comfortable. They can now rotate the squad a little bit for the final group game. The pressure's off the squad now. They've won the first 2 games, which is fantastic, which really does help them going forward into the knockout stages. That squad rotation, Ederson might get a start in goal, for example. They may freshen up the midfield by giving some of the squad players a run out to give players a rest. So Brazil are in a prime position to really kick on. But they've only scored a handful of goals. They're not the top goal-scoring side in this tournament so far. That is interesting in itself, considering the attacking talent they have at their disposal. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Portugal versus Uruguay looks likely to be a very tasty encounter. Later on this evening in the final game of the day. We've already I missed the first 2 games, but they were high scoring. There was a lot of goals scored. This game wasn't goalless. We may have 4 games with a lot of goals. Well, this game only had 1, but we've had a lot of goals today. Hopefully Portugal-Uruguay has a lot of goals as well. But now saying that, it's probably going to be a 0-0 draw, but we'll see how the last game plays out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.